All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Chongqing Major. I'm BreakyCPK, your caster. We got Thunder Predator taking on Infamous Gaming here from the South America region. A Group B match here in what is this GSL format. Essentially a double elimination group stages where the top two teams move on to the playoffs. Obviously coming off of a first game that it was a pretty good one overall, a little bit longer of one. Tomato playing the Naga Siren core, unable to do enough in the end. Really the team fight, though, of Thunder Predator was what stood out to me in that game one, and they're going to first pick the Magnus once again. So the Magnus was a high-impact hero the last game, no doubt. Yes, he had a couple of RPs that whiffed, but, I mean, that's bound to happen when there's a 51-minute game. Ultimately, the RPs that he did land, very strong, and playing that in power buff as well, to specifically Slark, clearly had high impact that game. So a Naga Siren against said buff, probably not the strongest on paper now that you think about it as well. As I say that, they are going to go the Naga Siren again. Now they do have a Lich teammate this time. You bring a little more scarier teamfight presence where compared to Rubik, now, Rubik still in the RP, was flashing all, but he was only really able to do that once. I think the Lich is just a lot more consistency. Lich was one of those heroes in 7.20 that was kind of hard to absorb the changes, and I still think we're going to kind of wait and see how this hero ultimately shapes up. But from my initial reaction, when I saw the changes too, I felt like it was overall a pretty good buff for the hero. It also made the hero a bit more sexy, right? And I like to use that term in the sense that I kind of want to play Lich now, where before it was like, well, he's just a sacrifice spot that tries to get you lane control and applies frost armor to you, a very, frankly, boring spell that, yes, is good, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. So the idea of the new frost shield, how it works, the whole Sinister's Gaze now gives him a decent crowd control effect. Kind of interesting. Now, the one downside is he has very high mana issues, especially no more sacrifice to get mana back, and all four of his abilities cost a fair amount of mana, so that's the one thing I'm curious to see how Infamous gets around this game. Also, they're going to be dealing with a Phantom Assassin now, and PA is yet another hero that got some decent changes in patch 7.20, specifically with her blur ability and how it works now. Yes, let me pull it up to confirm. Yeah, the blur, it's a non-evasive passive component has been changed into an active. So essentially she can now activate the ability, which essentially gives her a smoke. It gives her a free smoke. She cannot be seen on the map, and unless you are within 600 units of her, she will not appear. So she can attack buildings, she can attack buildings does expose, but she can attack enemies, creeps and stuff, and she will not show up. So that's where it's actually different than a smoke, even more powerful than a smoke as well. So curious how that works out for Thunder Predator. And of course you also have the old school Empower buff to take advantage of here. So I really like the Phantom Assassin pick a lot. On top of all that, the Phantom Strike ability was somewhat changed. Not really changed, I guess, just more so buffed up across the board. Also the idea that there is no attack limit anymore on the speed buff. It now just straight up lasts 2.5 seconds and doesn't matter which target you're attacking. It'll just stay with you as a buff for 2.5 seconds every time you use Phantom Strike. And by the way, it's also being that 5-second cooldown at level 4. You get the idea. She's attacking hard and fast with an Empower buff, you know, with her items ultimately on top of that. This seems like, to me, one of the stronger cores right now in the patch as well. We saw this like last game. I still go back to Infamous and their lineup, and with the Naga Siren, clearly they like it, and Tomato did farm very well on the hero, but you're picking up a Naga Siren into an Empower buff, and no matter the core, yes, Slark was good in general too, but no matter the core with an Empower buff, it's going to be good for cleaving down said illusions, and that's one of the main strengths of the hero, right? The Naga Siren being that she's all about those illusions, not only extra damage, but constant push, etc. Those aren't going to be as useful in these fights against this Empower buff. So a bit concerning with the core Naga pick, but Infamous standing by here as they're down 1-0. The Rubik also going to come out once again, so they'll stick with the Rubik. They switched the Lich out for the Sand King, so I suppose it doesn't necessarily. Give them more team fight. It just replaces one team fight initiator and Sand King with another one. Not a strong initiation, but a bit more support. Bit stronger here in the laning phase. Now, Sand King was actually the offlane, wasn't he? So, what is? It was a Rubik. What was the other support there for Infamous? See, now I'm oh, it was Undying. That's right. Okay. So they're replacing the Undying with the Lich. What's actually going on here? Interesting.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, see, that I don't know how I feel either. It's that the Tombstone's always going to be strong in fights, and the new Flesh Golem. So, I really not sold an Infamous lineup so far, compared. Because the same issue still stands. The cleaving down the illusions and the team fight right now. They can't get Phoenix. They did ban out Phoenix, so that is a big change, I suppose, for Infamous. And yeah, they're going the exact same lineup, just replacing the Undying with Lich right now. If they final pick a Tiny, it's the same minus that. So, talk about just being confident with their picks, despite it not working the previous game. I think this really goes to show you they thought Phoenix was probably the biggest issue.
10 seconds remaining.
Which, yes, Phoenix, very annoying hero, did combo well with the RP, and we saw several Supernovas get off in said team fight, so I can see that logic there, but Thunder Predator, 4th pick. Again, it was a Magnus last game, mid. Might not be a Magnus mid this game. It could as easily be an offlane Magnus instead, and pick up a different mid. They're probably going to go their position 4 hero here. Something for Prada would be my guess. Or no, they have a Tusk, don't they? Oh yeah, Matthew was their Tusk, so Prada. So maybe even in position 5. Okay, you know what hero I really like this patch too is that new Shadow Demon, man. Dazzle's also another one, but it is banned. 5th ban by Infamous. Shadow Demon. Why not? You can even create illusions from the Naga Siren himself, despite no matter how much farm he has. That could be a nice grab right there. The Purge is going to be great against Lich, and in general, Purge is a great ability. That Soul Catcher, also great for taking out tankier heroes, and the Naga Siren, as we saw last game, could get extra tanky. So I'm going to keep pitching that Shadow Demon pick. Very strong one.
Dire team ban.
Winter Wyvern.
They go the Wyvern. Much more of a team fight presence support hero, and great against Naga Siren, in fact, as well, with that Winter's Curse and also the Cold Embrace, so like it. Now I need to figure out the final pick. So, again, I don't know if I'm sold on it being a mid-Magnus in Game 2 here. I think that was a bit of an adjustment, I suppose, from the previous game that they made to send him in mid against the Tiny, but
Radiant team ban.
They banned the Ember Spirit, so yeah, Infamous still believes, too, that they're going to be last picking a mid-hero. Another one maybe that could take advantage of the Empower buff, too, of course. Kind of going through the list. You know a hero that actually got some big buffs? I don't know if people really don't seem like they're talking about him as much, is Razor. Razor, it seems like a hero that we could potentially start seeing a bit too. The new Unstable Current, how it just straight up deals damage around him every 3 seconds. It doesn't purge anymore or slow, but it just straight up deals 120 damage every 3 seconds. Sounds pretty good. Also the Plasma Field rework. Not saying it's going to be the pick here, but it's one that comes to mind as yet again, speaking of these changes. We haven't seen Luna this series yet, neither banned or picked. Only in Game 2, but Luna did get nerfs in yesterday's patch 7.20C. Seeing those nerfs, so it doesn't feel like nerfs that are really going to overdo it. So something tells me throughout this event we still should see her a fair amount.
Dire team pick.
Shadow Fiend.
Shadow Fiend. Interesting. Very interesting.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Interesting Shadow Fiend pick. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. But Shadow Fiend, a hero that didn't get any changes. Okay, base armor increased by 1. So, yeah. Let's just go ahead and say essentially didn't get any changes in the patch. Yeah, Thunder Predator likes the pick here. Sure, it takes advantage of the Empower buff in the sense of just plus damage is nice. Another core that benefits from team fight as well.
Lena.
Infamous going to go with the Lena, however, in their response. And that's how they'll finish. So, yep, Whispers on Lena. And so, yeah, it looks like I'm going to assume that Wikipedia had it backwards here with who plays what. Because Whisper, yeah, I believe he is their mid player, actually. And played the Tiny mid last game. Going to play the Lena mid here. I, of course, assume this game. Papita in his offlane role. In this case, on the Sand King. Yeah, the Shadow Fiend pickup last in the hands of Damari here is throwing me off a little bit from Thunder Predator. Again, I like the idea of the combo potential. Is a hero that potentially could come online a bit sooner. Is great at dealing with the illusions of Nagasar, and once again, too, we talked about that earlier with the raise combos. She'll be able to drop those illusions pretty effectively, so maybe that's what they were thinking, too, with the Shadow Fiend pick. His problem still stands is that he's susceptible to getting ganked earlier on in the game, and now you're dealing with a Lena mid on top of that. So a quick rotation from Rubik or a Sand King even could mean a free kill on that Shadow Fiend in the early laning phase. So something to look out for if you're Shadow Fiend. But no doubt does have the potential to be strong this game. Here we go, though. Game number 2. Again, the Chongqing Major. The regional qualifiers, in this case, the South American region, just getting things kicked off today. Throughout this whole week, by the end of it, we'll know the qualifiers from each of the regions, and we'll be down to just one team remaining, of course, that being the winner of the minor event, the Bucharest Minor. That'll be taking place shortly before this major tournament. It's South America, Southeast Asia, and CIS first, though, over these 3 days. And then we have North America, Europe, and China over the next 3 days. I know, it's fun to be casting the South America region here, no doubt, but I know myself and many, many others are really looking forward to that European region. So much competition in the European region right now, especially with teams like Team Secret and, of course, Liquid. Everyone,
Magician said, Kiros, wake up, you fat fuck.
What the hell was that? I don't even know what that was. I apologize. I'm not still in team speak, am I? That's weird. Well, we are in a pause here, so let me just double check. That was pretty strange. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again, whatever the hell that was. Not sure why, where that was even from. All right. Was that in game? I don't know. Anyways, we're a pause. That's what matters. Hey, look at this game. Artifact. Coming to Steam 11/28. That's soon. That's going to be, what, a Wednesday? Yeah, going to be a Wednesday. Not to gloat, but I have had the chance to try it, and I do have a beta access, so I've been enjoying it a bit myself, but I really can't wait for everyone to get it. I personally am excited for the game, especially now that I've gotten the chance to try it, and I actually look forward to also, because they have a built-in tournament system, to the game. That seems really cool. Just running community tournaments seems like a really fun idea, being able to cast them and everything. So I actually am most excited, honestly, about that idea of it. But anywho, yeah, they mentioned something about why they were paused. I'm not, obviously, don't really speak Spanish, so 100% sure what they're saying there, but I assume there is a good reason as to why we are paused. But yeah, Phantom Assassin, again, going through the 7.20 changes. Of course, Slark stood out. PA was definitely another one that really stood out to me as look out for this hero. Look out for this hero when it comes to being ran in especially pub games, let alone in these competitive games. Nakasarn I wasn't as sold on. So, again, back-to-back games here, though, being played by Tomato in this case. Obviously, it's not that the hero didn't work out the first game. Obviously, a losing effort, but he did farm very well with it. Somewhat comfortable for him. I will say there was obviously a little bit of misplays throughout the game. Specifically, it seems like the use of the Song of the Siren, they're still trying to get used to as a team, and even himself. We saw the one play here at the top lane last game where he got found by Batrider. He used the sleep and then tried to kill Batrider as he TP'd out, and you could tell it was really mistimed. Eventually, they rotated over and killed him in response. So, but something that, again, just going to have to be a while before ultimately getting used to how these heroes work. So, so yeah, this is one of, I want to say, 4 streams even going on right now. I think there should be 4 games in total going on right now. Let's see. So we got Infamous versus Thunder Predator. The other matches, let me pull it up. The other matches, we have Test 123 versus Gorilla's Pride. That's the other matchup here in Group B. In fact, I can pull up those brackets for you. Test 123. That's actually, okay, that's the former Pain X team. I wasn't even aware of that initially. So that's Ritsu, CCNC, Laposa, Flea, and Kitrak. They did announce very recently right here that they are looking for a new sponsorship. Also, Kitrak is replacing 40R. So Laposa's the only South American player on that squad, technically. I assume they're playing from South America because 4 of the 5 players are from the United States, and maybe they're just playing from the U.S. and they're just playing with the higher latency. I guess that could be a thing too. I'm really curious about the details there, honestly. But because I do know that they are looking for a new organization. They announced that they left Pain X or Pain Gaming Squad. I mean, that was expected, especially with the new rule from Valve this season, where you can only have 1 team per organization. So, you know, obviously in Pain's case with Pain Gaming and Pain X, at TI, that is. I didn't finish the sentence. At TI9 in this case, you can only have 1 team from each organization. So we've already seen that impact, especially a lot of the China region with several of their teams. Pain is another one, of course, that we're seeing the impact from. So, yeah, not surprising to see them leave the squad. Interested to see how that all shapes up, though. But they are still playing in the South America region for now, and they are in these qualifiers. I mentioned they're playing against Gorilla's Pride. In fact, let's see if there's any update to that. Doesn't look like on Wikipedia at least just yet. So
that wasn't too
try to keep an eye on the other series. You do look at Group A action, by the way. Of course, the other 4 teams competing. We have Pain Gaming versus 16A. Pain Gaming, HFN, Weeha, Tavo, King RD, and Misery. Should know that squad by now. They're no doubt the favorites here of these qualifiers. One of 2 spots, though, that's to be claimed. Again, 2 in total for South America. But then the 16A, you got RDO, Murdoch, Heiko, Theolikur, and Duster. That's Duster's new squad. That's a name, of course, you'd recognize from Pain Gaming of last year and the run that they had. And then you do have, Playmaker Esports versus Infamous Young. That's a secondary Infamous squad. So another case of having a second team. Playmaker Esports, Kataro, King Tekka, Stinger, Excel, and Faker. So, obviously, recognizable names there. And then Infamous Young. Nada, RoboZ, Valkyria, Yadomi, and Pamplona. Can't say I'm as familiar with those guys. But those are the 2 groups, 8 teams in total. And here we go. We finally have game number 2 getting underway. 1-0 lead for Thunder Predator. I'm on the right scene, right? Yep, we are good.
30 seconds to battle.
Tomato will be scouted out, trying to go for that bounty rune, and thus he'll be bullied away. So at the bottom, yeah, Pepita already setting up to pick up this rune. Phantom Assassin is going to be dancing nearby. He said Tomato went to the washroom. Okay, that makes sense.
The battle begins.
Thanks for the translation. Unfortunately, the 5-minute delay makes it a bit awkward there, but I appreciate the help there, Porky-kun. All right, yeah. So Lich, this is another hero that, as a support player myself too, I was very intrigued by these changes. He is going to go Frost Shield level 1. You throw up that bad boy onto the Nagasarin. Excellent tool. Now it's not as, it's still very useful, don't get me wrong, but it's not as, efficient as, say, if it was on the Radiant team, you throw it on a Phantom Assassin and she Phantom Strikes in. Like, having that hero that can initiate, that melee hero that can initiate in, sounds even extra strong, right? But, by the way, both sides going for a Courier Snipe. Schofield, oh, good job by Jamari, though. He pulls the creep way back, and no chance for the Courier Snipe in the end, so. Schofield instead, he'll TP away. Comes to the top lane. And he's going to start helping Tomato now. But we have a Wyvern Magnus. Last game we had the tri-lane being run by Infamous. This time they're going for the 2-1-2. Pepita was really locked down last game, and they could not deal with Slark earlier on. So I think they kind of learned their lesson in that sense. Feel more confident. Also perhaps with the range here on the Lich at the bottom, although Undying's also very good at that too. So yeah, I think this is just kind of an adjustment from game 1 to 2 where that tri-lane did not go nearly as well for them last time around. Schofield, he's being run down. Another Shockwave in 5 seconds. They should have this kill. They don't even need another Shockwave. There's just way too much damage. And Schofield falls right there. Yeah, that's that new Shockwave also coming into play, man. That pullback it does, it's essentially a slow in a sense, or because obviously it's not technically really slowing you, but it's pulling you back as if you were slowing anyways. It allows for another hit or two. Now, that did force Magnus to level up Skewer at level 2, I suppose. Whether or not that was a plan, I mean, it's a no empower, but either way, they get first blood, so I'm going to go ahead and say worth. Phantom Assassin 6-2. Down here, you have Sand King 3-2, so PA is still winning this lane. Remember, no sacrifice anymore from Lich. This is the thing, though. He has 2 spells level 1, and it's 205 mana if he wants to cast both of them right now. So he can essentially do that twice before his mana pool's gone. He does have double Mango, so that, of course, helps with that. But this early on using this spell, isn't really having the best impact. We're going to see it come into play right here. Attune. He has to Phantom Strike away, but, yeah, that's still has to be careful. That Hellbear Smash will Thunderclap when he pounces over there, Phantom Strikes, and that could have been interesting, but looks like he did it just before.
Illusion.
It's 3 minutes into the game. Wyvern continues to heavily harass the Rubik, and it's the downside of that Rubik is, well as you played maybe the later game, the early laning phase is where Rubik struggles compared to so many of these other supports. And we are seeing that at the top lane, kind of. To be fair, Tomato's still farming very well. He's 16-0. Magnus 13-1. As Wyvern's going to attempt a pull, gets a couple. And Tomato's like, nope, those are my creeps. I'm not going to let you do that. He is going to take some damage because of this. He doesn't have his ensnare either. Chose to go the 201 build for now. As Lich, level 2 in the Frost Shield, so he's starting to level that up. The benefits of leveling it up, I suppose it is the damage as well, but it is a damage reduction. Now, it does increase the mana cost, so there is that slight downside. As middle lane Lina, that's a trap in there. Jamari trying to line up some raises, but in comes a Frost Shield, and now It's Tusk the one that has to run over the one raise. There's a two raise. They get the kill from Shadow Fiend. Tusk does fall, but Jamari's like, thank you very much, Tusk. I will accept your death. And I do think if you're Thunder Predator, you're definitely happy with that situation overall. So well played by Shadow Fiend. And more so the Tusk. Got the double Wraith Band. He's got those souls added up. And Rubik, though, rotating in, going for the kill. The LSA barely connects, and that'll doom in. Yeah, if that LSA doesn't hit, then he probably gets away. Man, that was just on the outskirts.
Radiant's middle tower
Good
is under
patience.
attack.
Meanwhile, from Rubik, and they had a ward here, so he just did not see him in time. Schofield did a great job of pathing. He went around this side, I believe, and eventually snuck out from the tree. So you see with the vision there, I wasn't able to see him in time.
Got it.
Unless he gets the kill. Schofield, they're going to have to pop a shrine. Not the worst thing ever. Even Tomato gets a little bit of value out of it. But those 5-minute bounty runes, yikes. That's going to be all 4 on the side of Thunder Predator. So good control by them.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, Lich. Curious also if he gets that Sinister's Gaze earlier on. You are dealing with kind of a solo Phantom Assassin for the time being. It goes back to, especially if he gets Gaze, I mean, all 3 spells, he can only do once, essentially, before his mana pool's gone. But now Tusk rotating in the flank, he puts the shield on himself. With the Wyvern, though, Moose is in trouble. That damage reduction is helpful, but the Shard block, and eventually going to do him in a Toon credit for the kill. And now Sand King's in trouble. He doesn't have a Sandstorm. However, Rubik's rotation scares him off enough, it seems like. In fact, is he going to go back in? He wants to. Pepito wants this kill. He gets the kill, but at what cost now? Lift up from Rubik. Not going to be enough for the save, but 2 gets a double kill out of it. And Schofield, don't you overextend too. Again, big picture. Thunder Predator happy with this turnout. That's 2 kills for Phantom Assassin in what has been a somewhat defensive lane for him. And this is also without that Empower buff that inevitably will start coming in as we see the heroes coming out of the laning phase, of course. Schofield gets a ward down behind the tower. In case you couldn't see it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Just go ahead and circle that right there. But yeah, this Frost Shield, as Whisper goes down. The middle lane, it looks like Wyvern rotates in with the Shadow Fiend. And, of course, they get another kill on him. So, actually, Tusk goes there, too. So, we'll make it a 3 versus 1. You figure Shadow Fiend's the one that's susceptible to getting ganked as far as his downside. But Radiant Team's done a good job of being the aggressors instead.
Dire are scanning.
Interesting. PA has the Mask of Madness queued up. Morbid Mask no longer provides that damage buff, of course, but also means he's not going to be going, say, like the Battle Fury. Of course, he does have the Empower, so probably the ultimate reason as to why he's not interested in said item, which makes sense. That's Pepita.
Radiant's middle tower.
As long as he doesn't use his stun here, he should be fine. He doesn't have Sandstorm, though, so if he uses his stun for farming or something, he's in trouble. Oh, look at this. 3 heroes rotating through it. Now, Lena doesn't have a smoke. Shadow Fiend, he's like, where's the Lena? He's going to play very defensive, and you know what? It'll work. He even pings out exactly where they were potentially going to be. That was pretty crazy right there. That presence of mind from Jamari. Are you kidding me? They might catch him still, though. Oh, they're going to come out Schofield. All of a sudden, they have a Laguna Blade, and you know that's coming. As great as that was initially from Jamari, good job by Infamous continuing to pursue and eventually catch up to him.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant structures are fortified.
Middle lane, Wyvern ports in. Also has somebody else coming. That would be Tusk as they catch up to Lich. The Sinister's Gaze is canceled pretty quickly, though. Trying to keep in place long enough. And now Tusk is going to catch up to Lena. Another TP in. This one from the Magnus. RP is ready, by the way. Is he going to look to use it? He wants to. He's going. No, he gets stunned as he runs in right there. Looks like a toss stun. The lift even from Schofield as they kill Tusk. Stopped an RP chance. So that's a no-go, and instead Shadow Fiend will go over to the jungle and farm over there. He did not have a TP, so maybe it's for the better that they didn't RP there. But now Rubik being slowed down by Product. Great hero blocking. You have Lich coming over. Going to apply that Frost Shield, though. And that means Rubik's fine. Yeah, 50% damage reduction. That is quite a bit. That's even at level 1, 30% damage reduction. But it's understandable that he is maxing out that Frost Shield first. Getting that to 60% damage reduction as soon as possible. And then the 15-second cooldown is pretty strong, too. Pepita wondering if we should go back in or not. Remember, Frank still has an RP as those 10-minute bounty runes come in.
What have we here?
Jamari likes the idea of going the Yules. I like that, too. Not only playing the Purge, but it means he's going to be more of that aggressive play style, likely. Use that, rely more on his spells as far as his damage is concerned. Because you have a Phantom Assassin that's going to be farming away with the Empower buff, and obviously when it comes to physical damage, she's dealing plenty. But I think Shadow Fiend could definitely get away with this style, for sure. And you see the Empower buff starting to be given to Phantom Assassin now. Speaking of that, using that blur as well. Farm in the jungle. Our team doesn't really have vision over here other than behind the tower.
Radiant's middle tower has
As there's a mid-tower kill, so Whisper, credit for it. As a team Infamous kind of comes together to make sure to have that happen. So Lena's the top farm in the game right now. And then again, quietly but surely, Naga Siren is farming away at the top.
Dire's top tower is under
Pepita
attack.
gets a kill at the bottom. Using the epicenter right there with the drums. Runs down Winter Wyvern. Seeing that he's trying to leech some experience. Wyvern only level 4. That was really all the Sand King. Pepita going to be blocked in. Again, he has the Burrow Strike though, so not really. It's good to go. Top 3 farm on the Dire side, all belonging to them. When you look at that net worth chart, looking pretty good for Infamous right now.
Is under attack.
That's not for the likes of you.
Pepita's also having a much better start than he had last game too. That's probably going to be a big factor. In fact, stunts in on a Wyvern. And again, Wyvern just explodes using that Laguna Blade. Here we go with the snowball, though. In fact, Shadow Fiend's also in pursuit. Attune ready to jump into Pepita. That Frost Shield. In comes a Raccoon on top, but you see still at Half-Life has a Vanguard as well. That is a tanky-ass Sand King. Jamari running away for his life. They ended up killing the Lich. One more auto attack, though, does him eventually. And now Tusk, he's the one that's in no man's land. Here comes Frank, though, the RP with that Blink Dagger. He only hit Rubik, however. Not the best RP ever. The Naga sleep, and you know at least Tusk is maybe dead. He's got a snowball. No, LSA, triple kill for Lena. Is it even going to be more? Frankie brings in a couple with him. Probably going to be more. Whisper needs a Dragon Slave in the face. Gets the kill, making an ultra kill for Whisper here. And just like that, a 4,000 net worth lead now. Looking pretty good for Infamous. As this tier 1 bottom, no doubt in trouble. It's definitely dead. Yeah, the RP only hit one target, and it was only Lich, if I'm not mistaken. You really see the power of that Frost Shield, though, man. Level 4 Frost Shield, 60% damage reduction. And, oh, by the way, sinking out of Vanguard. So that was the wrong target to jump. That was absolutely the wrong target to jump. So that goes back to the point, too, that Pepita's had a great gaming when it comes to farm, especially compared to the previous one. But I think this Lich pick is proven to be a very good support option. Did even use a Chain Frost. Honestly, I wasn't even aware of the Chain Frost last fight, but I'm sure it did plenty as well. Phantom Assassin, she is farming away. Does she? She might actually, I guess she might just sit with the Morbid Mask. one of those heroes now. Again, there is no damage buff anymore in the Morbid Mask, but still for that lifesteal, 50% lifesteal on a hero like PA most certainly benefits from it. Eventually can make a Satanic down the lines,
Dire's top tower
which
is under
would
attack.
most certainly be a great item on her
Dire's structures
in that late
are
game.
fortified.
Going to use it to farm, taking out some Ancients.
Radiant's bottom
He's going to hit
tower
level
is
10
under
here as
attack.
well, so
Dire's
Fuel
top
for my
tower is
fire.
under
he's going to go with
attack.
health, 150 health over the damage. But again, does have the damage buff from Magnus, so any kind of survivability she gets from Talents probably makes sense. Going right into the Desolator next.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Shadow Fiend
Radiant's
choosing to go
bottom
the drums
tower
first, so
has
it's
fallen.
actually not going to be the Yules in the end for Shadow Fiend. We'll instead have the
Dire's top
drums
tower
early on
is
and
under attack.
working
Radiant's
on a
bottom
BKB.
tower is under
Another
attack.
hero that could be interesting in terms of like a Yashikaya. Most certainly benefits from the Spell Amp.
A bounty which my matriarch would prize.
And like I was saying earlier, in fact, did go the 8% Spell Amp talent as well. This seems like a game where they want him to be about the raises and the Requiem initiation and stuff, not just sitting back right-clicking. Because you got a Phantom Assassin, that's going to be the threat of the physical damage. Likes the BKB though, and I do too. This is a game where no doubt BKB very strong. Nagasiren, however, already a Diffusal finish now. And this time he's going to go the Shadow Blade. I believe last game he went the Manta style after the Diffusal. Likes the Shadow Blade instead this time around. Much more of an aggressive play style. Beat up babysitting top lane, but man, he has a full Crimson Guard now finished. And now it's going to go back to that Blink Dagger. Hasn't needed it yet. We'll say Phantom Assassin has been a farming machine, though. Is catching up to the Nagasiren even. And that Deso around the corner. So as farmed as both the Lina and the Naga are, more so specifically the Lina, this Phantom Assassin, 1,000 life on Lina right now. This PA can essentially two-shot her with a couple lucky crits.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
She is going to finish her Shadow Blade at least.
Radiant's top tower is
But yeah,
under
not the
attack.
biggest life pool to work with on Lina
Dire's
here.
structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Infamous going to keep some push going, though. I don't see any reason to stop. They get an
Radiant's
easy
top
Tier
tower
2
has
tower
fallen.
kill. Jamari, he's going to have to drums. Yeah, Sand King's in pursuit, but again, no blink on him yet. And that Burrow Strike is just out of range, so no stun. And Shadow Fiend easily gets away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Bottom tower has fallen.
Magnus being sure to keep applying that Empower buff whenever he gets a chance. To Phantom Assassin, her Deso. Never mind, switching to the BKB. Perhaps talked it over. Goes back to that same logic as we talked about earlier. He already has a damage buff with the level 4 Empower, which, yeah, it is level 4 now. With the pace of this game, you're down 6,000 team net worth. You have a very stun-heavy team on the other side. I actually like the BKB a lot, too. I don't think a Deso would have been a bad choice. It would have been a risky choice, though, for sure. But that Deso, you could have been setting up some one-shots even on Lina. Yeah, BKB more sustaining the fight, no doubt. And it is going to be finished. So she has a full BKB now. And you know that this Radiant team is ready to fight. Okay, Shadow Fiend actually doesn't have his BKB yet, so maybe not just yet. Wants to get on Shadow Fiend first. But Whisper's going to check out Rosha meanwhile. Thunder Predator does have a scan if they want to confirm this, but
Double damage.
double damage rune picked up. Meanwhile, from Lina, Curse on an Nagasiren. It hits Lina as well, and there's the one shot that we're talking about. The RP setup perfect as well on top of Nagasiren. Magnus, or not Magnus, but Sand King trying to do what he can. It's not going to be enough. Lich buys back, so that was Lich that got bursted down, but Naga's not buying back. He's there for 40 seconds. They did kill Wyvern. Peta gets his epicenter off a triple kill already for a tune, looking pretty good. The BKB, however, wears off. That Sinister Gaze pulling her in, but she is eventually going to be able to run away instead. Tusk goes down. There's the jump back in from Attune. However, Magnus gets taken out, and now Attune, he has to fight this. That damage reduction, though, Papita's just way too damn tanky. And what was such a great start for the Radiant squad ends up not necessarily working out the best in the end. Between the Chain Frost and the Epicenter fighting on the uphill like that, bit of a scary position. The positive to take there is they do prevent any kind of Roshan from happening. And obviously they killed both cores in Lina and Nagasiren.
Tower is under attack.
So the net worth gap does close a little bit. And now you have the BKB will be finished on the Shadow Fiend here. But Phantom Assassin is still interested in going the Desolator. That on top of the level 15 talent with a -3 armor corruption. That's going to feel really good, especially when you're fighting into a Nagasiren who's got insane amount of armor. As Pepita found a nice little trophy here in Tusk. Not much math you can do to get away there. Tag team's not going to save you, buddy. And Tomato pinging out Roshan. I don't know if that secures a Roshan by any means. However, Radiant team isn't really in the area either. So maybe it does secure Roshan. They do have a scan still. They're not using it just yet. There we go. They do scan. It hits. And they realize immediately, all right, we got to go. So they smoke on up. The Dire team did not see them. They scan this area, and obviously they're not there. Is this going to happen? It's going to be so close. They're going to be late, I think. Yeah, Roshan's going to go down right as they jump in. Nice stun from Pepita. The Sandstorm applied as well. Pepita trying to live the race. Not enough for damage for the kill. The 2 jumps in. Go for the first one to Lina as Tomato picked up the Aegis, but Lina's getting very low. She's having to run away with the Shadow Blade. They end up killing the Aegis, though, from Nagasiren. Laguna Blade's not going to save it. Gets a kill on Magnus, but Attune beats down Lina for the kill. Jamari on top of Tomato. He has to use his sleep, but the BKB of Jamari still lying for the hits. Needs one more rage to land or an auto deck or something that has to raise cooldowns, though. Tomato, the song wears off. Meanwhile, you have over here Phantom Assassin's going after the Lich. Will finally kill him for the double kill. Tomato TPing out. Yes, he actually escapes at the end, but the team around him falling to pieces, Schofield included. Can he somehow escape? The blink away, the snowball's not going to connect, and so the answer is yes. But damage done by the Radiant. The timing, man. I mean, the Aegis was still picked up by Infamous, but you could tell that threw them off quite a bit. The song came out much later in the fight than maybe they needed it to. I suppose could have been holding it for it because Phantom Assassin did use a BKB right away as they jumped in. I don't know. That was a tough call, but it goes back to just like the first game. When it comes to these team fights, it seems like Thunder and Predator just a little more on point. And obviously the big crits continue to be a factor. Lina just only 1,082 life. As farmed as she is, having 1,082 life against this farmed PA does not feel good. Because she didn't one-shot her, but might as well have. And in fact, Phantom Assassin just says, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go an SNY. He ends up going to cleave too. Interesting. Anyways, Lina, oh, there's a counter curse onto the Wyvern. A Wyvern's dead because of that. Well played by Schofield. Schofield gets taken out though for a dieback because of Attune. The skewer back. Whisper, he's so little life, man. The 612 crit comes out, and he just melts as if he wasn't even there. Pepita, at least he'll be fine. He's a bit tankier. Although they want to keep going, so maybe not taking enough. The Chain Frost, it just bounces over to Jamari, though, and he's too far away. Now Mood's in trouble. The Shockwave doesn't hit. It doesn't matter, though. He's dead as well. They just keep on going, and the momentum is all in favor of Thunder Predator. This is very similar to the previous game, honestly. Early game Infamous looked okay. Naga was getting good farm, but by around this similar mark, it felt like that the team far started to be won by Thunder Predator, and they just started pulling ahead. And yes, Tomato continues to be farmed and split push and everything, but Thunder Predator just working as a team very effectively, and they're going to push this tier 2 top now.
Tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
I want to go back to PA's talent build, though. Choosing the cleave over the armor corruption, and on top of that, not even going the Desolator. So really committing to this cleave idea with the Empower buff on top of the talent. I suppose against the Nagasiren, that's probably the biggest reason for that logic there from Phantom Assassin. -3 armor corruption, maybe not necessarily enough to warrant going when you're dealing with a Naga who has 30 plus armor. So maybe that's his line of thinking. Again, I don't think it's a case of a wrong choice by any means. Requiem, no, he's just having fun with it, just canceling it. But yeah, choosing to go the SNY, also kind of interesting. Does have that status resistance now as well. You got a lot of lockdown, so there is a logic there in the Sage pickup. You know what Infamous needs? They need a Heaven's Halberd. Sand King needs to queue up a Heaven's Halberd right now. Lotus Orb is okay, I suppose, but man, that Heaven's Halberd against this Phantom Assassin would feel really good about now. Somebody else going for it? I mean, he's the only candidate, really. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Lich is just simply trying to finish a Glimmer Cape. Naga Siren, again, she's farmed. She is going to go with Silver Edge next, which, great against Phantom Assassin. That blur is passive is going to be taken away, of course.
A bounty which my matriarch will prize.
Loves to cancel that. He has an Arcane bottled up as well. He also goes the SNY on Shadow Fiend, so both cores very similar builds. The BKBs into the SNYs. Shadow Fiend wrapping around. Kind of by himself, but not really. It's a bit of a bait there. Matthew, he is going to be caught by opening a Sand King. Whisper the follow-up. It's not the easiest kill. Tusk gets a snowball off. The curse also on Alina. And this is going to be a Requiem setup. Meanwhile, Rubik's picked off the Requiem a little bit too early, mainly because of the Yul's coming out with the RP as Whisper hits the ground. She's dead for 50. They were not letting Lina make any kind of escape right there. They definitely made sure of it. Can't blame them. Meanwhile, Pepita's caught. However, Phantom Strike, get the vision, not really. Nice blink away. And thus Sand King will survive for now. But let's push towards middle, says the Radiant team. Or maybe not. 218 still for Roshan. Bit of time. Definitely need to get some kind of objectives out of this. Feels like RP was used, that's right, to make sure to kill Lina. That's Phantom Assassin, though. Cleave is real.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So, again, Tomato doing what he can. Split pushing with the illusions. Another reason, though, why that cleave is potentially going to be really good for this Phantom Assassin. Of choosing to go the talent, he can push out the lanes very quickly. But yeah, I go back to the Heaven's Halberd, man. It's just Lotus Orb. It doesn't seem like it's doing nearly enough this game to warrant going over Heaven's Halberd. How long is a disarm? Yeah, 3-second disarm against this Phantom Assassin, and it gives himself that evasion and the status resistance. I mean, I don't think Sand King's necessarily worried about dying. Hell, I think you could argue Naga Siren should get in this case. Anyways, it seems like an item that's almost necessary against a farmed PA on the other side. But that Silver Edge also going to be good, as long as he can get that break up onto the Phantom Assassin. Thunder Predator trying to figure out their next play. Tier 2 Roshan, it's still, again, about 45 seconds before he could spawn. Wouldn't be surprised if the Radiant is simply waiting for that. See him activating that blur constantly. Once again, for those that may have been overwhelmed by the patch notes, Phantom Assassin, that blur had a bit of a rework. It not only does the passive effect still of 50% evasion, but it no longer does that whole mini-map, can't see him on the mini-map thing. Instead, it does even more in the sense when he uses the blur, it actually gives him a smoke buff, basically, where not only can you not see her on the mini-map, but even if you're close by, unless you're 600 units close, you will still not be able to see her. So, and she can also attack creeps and stuff out of it, so it's not like smoke in that sense. It's better. Pretty much a very good tool for the Phantom Assassin to take advantage of. And help to stay alive. By the way, you see Shadow Fiend there gets the +2 damage soul talent, of course. So now he is hitting that much harder even. Considering he went the Spell Lamp, I thought we actually might have seen the Shadow Raise damage, and when you have a PA on top of that, but That steroid of the +2 damage per soul is really good. I don't know, I think there's an argument, though, that Shadow Ray's damage potentially could have been better. You are dealing with a heavy, heavy armor Naga Siren. Look at the Shadow Fiend, by the way, using that Invis rune. The Dire team, they did put a sentry down. They saw him pick it up. They put a sentry here. The RP, that's a solo RP on Pepita. That's a tough kill, but they have plenty of damage. So I was going to say, committing for that kill with the RP, it sounded a little dangerous, but you know what? They get it, and again, objective time for Thunder Predator. Still 40 seconds on the Roshan respawn. They're just going to smoke up, head over here. The Curse, it catches Lich. That should be an easy follow-up kill. Those triple stifling daggers. And the Toon will just crit Lich for nearly 1,400 damage, because why not?
Dire's middle tower
Two falls.
has fallen.
Double damage.
Matthew. Heals on up as Whisper wants to live. Whisper has an axe now even, so more burst from that Laguna Blade, but it just doesn't matter when you're getting run down. Not much that axe is doing in that case for her there. They are pinging out Roshan. They know it's potentially up at least. Tomato. And he's tanky, so God, that 1,300 crit off the bat. You just see not only illusions melt, but Tomato's life taking a good chunk. Got an Eye of Scotty now on this Phantom Assassin. We obviously saw the triple stifling dagger as well.
Radiant are scanning.
This is a free Roshan. I don't think Infamous even wants to fight this if they could. Whisper's still down for 30 seconds or so. We've obviously talked about their team fight already, and I mean, RP is down for 20. Maybe we don't 100% know that, though. Either way, they're not going to risk it. And that's an Aegis now for a Toon. She's picked up by Shadow Fiend, who has 5,000 gold saved up. So we are going to see a Butterfly on Shadow Fiend at this rate. Phantom Assassin going to work into that Abyssal Blade.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It just continues to be the Tomato show for Infamous. They just need him to keep split pushing and somehow put enough pressure on the base to kind of spread Thunder Predator out and maybe get picks as a result. That seems like the win condition right now, the comeback mechanic for Infamous, just like it was last game. And this is the start of it right here. I mean, picking off a Wyvern. He's going to spawn the illusions. There's that Cold Embrace. Very good against Wyvern, but once it wears off, he will just evaporate. So, good pick from Tomato. Naga just hit 20 as well, so has the extra illusion now. There's the Butterfly and Shadow Fiend. Let's try to check to see if there's any vision there. Obviously there's not, but a little scared, applying that Frost Shield to himself preemptively. Top lane, Curse sets up for Lina. TP's coming in. Somebody TP'd over here, though. That'd be the Magnus. He gets caught by a couple. They might still kill Lina anyways. Yeah, Wyvern helps finish off back over here. Magnus, yeah, he's fine. It's just a matter of could the others get out now. Schofield, oh boy. No crit initially. Ghost Scepter pretty nice. However, those raises do amped damage. So you could tell what Infamous was doing, trying to catch the people TPing into the shrine. Go for some quick kills there. Not the case, though. And yet again, Thunder Predator will head right down the middle lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Gonna push some towers. When it comes to sieging, this Radiant team isn't the scariest.
Dire's
I guess PA
middle
is
tower
just
has
so
fallen.
farm that they still deal a
Dire's middle barracks are
fair
under
amount of
attack.
damage.
Dire's middle
make their way go
barracks
top.
has fallen. Dire's
Tomato
middle
is putting
barracks
pressure at the
has
bottom.
fallen.
They
Dire's
force
top
somebody to
tower
TP
is under
back.
attack.
Wyvern. Yeah, Wyvern will TP
Radiant's
back
bottom tower is under attack.
as a curse as well if he needs it. There's a Splinter Blast, so Tomato. Real one is there with those boots. Bots even. Is cursed up for the time being, but now Wyvern's in trouble. He has to throw out the Cold Embrace. Yeah, there you go. He's trying to bait. He's got some TPs coming in. He's probably going to die still. Oh, it's going to be close. Riptide proc's happening. Yes, he goes down. Now Jamari popping the BKB. Requiem use. Kills all the illusions. Whisper dies at the top lane, so multiple fights happening. Tomato, however, he TPs out successfully. Gets a song off. They catch PA, or do they? She still has a BKB. Something tells me she's still really scary. Nice Sinister's Gaze. Trying to lock down long enough. Frank, you already used the RP. That damage reduction helping Moose stay alive, but it's not going to work in the end. 1500 crit eventually comes out. PA doesn't use the BKB. Did take the Aegis Death first. Triple kill already for him. Buybacks happening. Everyone is in love with the Dire team, but she will have a BKB now. She uses it right off the bat. Goes up to lane of the Yules, only delaying the inevitable for Whisper. He's out for 95 seconds. Ultra kill for a tune. He wants that Rampage. You know it. He is not going to find anyone in time, though. So, Infamous, I feel like they played it as well as they could have, honestly. That was a hell of a chance, but
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
in the end, just too much. Coup de grace, talent picked up by PA as well, and the tier 4s are falling. So Tomato's pushing out bottom, but at this rate, his Ancient's going to die before he gets the racks down there. And that means you lose the game, ladies and gentlemen. So Thunder Predator dancing a tune is having fun with it, feeling pretty good, and they should be. They looked clean here in Game 2 in the series, frankly, against Infamous. And I feel like a lot of people would have favored Infamous going into this series. I know I sure did, honestly, looking at the rosters, but Thunder Predator, they played it very well as a team, and they are advancing on to the winner portion here of Group A, that is. So congratulations to them. They play the winner of Test 1-2-3, which is the former Pain X squad, going up against Gorilla's Pride. Right now, that's a 1-0 lead for Pain X, or excuse me, for Test 1-2-3, and they are going into game number 2, or in game number 2 at this point, which I believe is on the BTS 4 stream. Obviously, again, there's 4 streams going on at once. You can check out the Beyond the Summit streams. I don't know exactly which match is on which, but point is, coverage for all the matches are happening as well as in-game, and that means our match, though, wrapping up here. So we are going to take a short break on our stream. Again, congratulations to Thunder Predator. Looked clean, looked good. Was fun to watch. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. BreakyCPK, your caster. You can follow me at BreakyCPK on Twitter and Facebook and all over the place. I don't know if we have a rolling schedule going or not. Either way, we'll need to wait for the other match to finish, because obviously there's 4 teams, kind of this mini double elimination tournament. And let me try to confirm that real quickly, if I can. Yeah, it looks like going to be casting the Group B upper bracket finals next, which so it'll be Thunder Predator once again versus the winner of the other series. So right now, Test 1-2-3, up 1-0, like we mentioned. So, and unless maybe it actually just finished, because I don't see the game up, and I'm going to refresh Wikipedia, see if it has the update there. No, it doesn't have the update yet. I don't see anything on the channel. So just stay tuned, guys. I'll let you guys know. The upper bracket finals will be here though, excuse me. And again, it will be Thunder Predator versus the winner of Test 1-2-3 versus Gorilla's Pride. If I had to guess, again, Test 1-2-3, former Pain X squad would be my guess, but we'll wait to get confirmation and also what time it is planning to happen. Coming up here. So hopefully you enjoy this game. Stay tuned. We got the next series, upper bracket finals from Group B, should be coming up shortly.